It's Sunday the 22nd of May. Thanks for clicking on to the US edition of the June Outlook. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. If you're in search of hot weather as we push towards next weekend, which of course is Memorial Day, the official start to the summer season, you are in luck if you live in the Great Lakes in the Northeast and wanting some hot weather. Because after a pretty cold May across the lower 48, a cold and wet May at that, it looks as if we're finally going to start to see some true summer heat into the Great Lakes and eventually the Northeast by next weekend, which of course is the big Memorial Day weekend holiday. Upcoming 5 days off the GFS ensemble looks like this: Trough in the West, Ridge, position more over the Great Lakes and into Canada, because we've got a residual area of upper level low pressure that's been keeping skies extremely overcast, rainy, cool, just downright miserable. Something you would expect here more in Scotland than in the mid-Atlantic, DC, Baltimore and Philadelphia area, but it has been a very, very gloomy weekend, that's for sure. That system will eventually start to clear things out, and as we push into the 6 to 10 day period, which will be next weekend, you're going to start to see an upper level ridge really starting to build here, and in response to that, we're going to start to see much warmer conditions here. But if you notice here that we've got a neutral, possibly even negative height field underneath this ridge, we need to watch out here over the Caribbean, over potentially the Gulf of Mexico, because what's happening is we've got a very active southern branch jet stream, El Nino like, still cutting underneath this big ridge that's been always positioned Pacific Northwest, southern Canada, and into eastern Canada here, where the ground has been driest. You've got that feedback. Dry ground equals stronger than normal high pressure, and in turn equals warmer than normal conditions, because the drier the ground, the drier the air. The drier the air is, the easier it is for the sun to heat the air rather than evaporation. So you can see here, the 6 to 10 day, we've got a very strong ridge of high pressure, not only centered over Quebec, but it extends into the northeast. And in response to that, we're going to see the temperatures probably rising for the first time this year into the 90s as far north as southern parts of New England here. You can see that the GFS ensemble 2-meter temperature anomaly is very, very warm, a good 20 above normal. So we are talking about probably upper 80s, low 90s, really from Chicago all the way towards the New York City area. Still cool if you notice here where it's cloudier, rainier across the entire western half of the country, extending from the Four Corners into Texas as well. Where the ground is wettest, you're going to continue to see wet weather. You're going to see temperatures knocked on the head because of that wet soils in response. Let's look at the CFS V2, and we can see here that it looks as if this is frozen, I think. Let me just see here, 2 wee seconds. Let's look at the CFS V2 monthly here. What's quite interesting here about this, let's go to June. You can see here the strongest heights. So this is the whole June outlook according to the CFS V2. You've got the warmth on the west coast here over California, and then we've got the ridge here over the northeastern half of the country. But in between, folks, it looks as if we're going to see a colder regime. Now, next week, the upcoming 7-day period, I want to add something here. While we've got the big trough in the west, the big ridge over the northeast, you've got a fight zone up and down the plain states. That is going to bring more in the way of heavy rainfall, but as well as that, severe weather will be a noteworthy aspect of next week, while we're talking about beach weather up and down the northeastern shores here. So the month of June, CFS V2 500 millibar heights. You can see here the 2-meter temperature anomalies look like this here. So we are going to stack the warmest weather to the north, where the ground is drier. Underneath that, we've got lower than normal heights. We've got a greater chance of seeing wetter conditions, and we do need to watch where the waters are now starting to warm into the upper 80s, just off the coast of the Carolinas, Florida, and Louisiana and Texas. These waters are starting to warm up significantly, and when you've got troughs, frontal systems that push off the coast, you need to watch out as these tails cross over that warm water, you can sometimes get convection and some form of organization here. So there is the possibility, folks, that we could be talking about some early season tropical development based on the fact that you've got that ridge over the Great Lakes and eastern parts of Canada. So it looks as if we're going to see a warm end to the month of May, beginning of June. We are going to see a very chilly end to the month of May across the western half of the country. We're going to continue to see wet weather over Texas. But I think we are going to have a hard time really building true Texas early summer heat when you've got ground as wet as it is. And over the southeastern half of the country, we've got somewhat wet ground as well. But you're always going to have more negative when you position the core of the ridge well up to the north here. So that's it for today. Do check out the written June outlook of 2016 for the United States. Thanks for watching if you're on YouTube, and I will be back as always come tomorrow morning with more information. Bye for now.